Hi again. Welcome to Twillspiration. I am Fashna Walsh, and I would like to talk a little on who we are on a spiritual level. Now, most people will look at themselves as flesh and blood, and yes, that's part of our makeup. But the flesh and blood and the mind, that part of us is like a how did Bruce Lipton put it? It's like a it's like the TV set, you know, um, that we just tune in into it so that we can then project a certain level of experience. Okay, so we can see the movie, we can see the TV show, we can see, but that's all the body and the mind is. Who we truly are, because when we shed this body and this mind, our energy lives on, and our energy comes from the life force that is all around us, the God force, the universal force, the source, whatever you want to call it. That's where we truly are from. That's who we truly are. And this body is just a way of expressing and experiencing more of life, which is why we're here. We're here to experience life. And basically, we are emanations of God. So, when I was growing up, I grew up in Christianity. I grew up in the Apostolic Church, and it was all about the gospel of Christ. And but the way it was taught to me was almost like having a fear. They talk about the fear of God, not necessarily the love of God. And that the way I interpret it is God is, you're supposed to be afraid of God. And and as much as I understand this, when you respect someone, you respect them in such reverence. The respect is so reverent that you wouldn't do anything to upset them. Um, but the way I understood it was, if you did this thing, if you drank some wine, God is going to sin you, is what they used to say. Um, or if you turned on a certain kind of music and started dancing, or you wore, really short shorts and indulged in all the pleasures of the world, you're going straight to hell. And okay, I don't do this, I don't say this to make fun or anything, but it's just on that, where they were coming from, that's their level of understanding, and that's okay. Okay, because we all have to start somewhere, but we don't have to stop there, because we have this amazing mind in which we process this God force through it, so that we can actually learn so much more about who we are, why we're here, and also where we come from. Okay, so I talk about this because so many people are so scared, especially within the Christian, and maybe other religions as well, scared to say, I am an emanation of God. They separate themselves from God. God is over there, and I am over here, and I am this small person, and God is this giant that all encompassing Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end giant that I can never be worthy of. And that, in my opinion, is not true, because that sets you, God said he's not separate, he's not separate from us. He lives in us and through us. We just have to allow that to occur. Okay. And if God lives in us and is us and lives through us, then we are emanations of God. Collectively, we are all God. Okay. And I know that will be called blasphemy in certain religions. Um, but you know, sometimes, if you go to church and you listen to the preacher preach, and it touches your soul, you really get it, and it gets inside of your soul. And sometimes you have questions, and they'll always tell you not to question God. Don't question God, because that's the word of God, and da 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 da. But I always felt that so limiting, thinking, why give us a mind that's going to ask questions and tell us not to question. That doesn't make any sense. God wouldn't do that. God is so amazing. He wants to experience everything, which is why the word why exists. Why? From when we were 2 years old, we're asking why. But why? But why? But why? My little granddaughter, 2.5, she's like, what's this? And what's this? And what's this? She don't know the word why yet, but I know it's around the corner, because at the moment she's asking, what is this? What is this? What are you doing? What are you doing? She wants to know everything. She just wants to glean all this information. And God doesn't make us so that we don't want to glean information. He wants to experience life through us, or she wants to experience life through us, because God is not necessarily a man or a woman. God is a spirit. Okay, again, more blasphemy for those who are in the church looking at me right now, but this is my soul speaking. Okay, this is my soul speaking, and God is in my heart. Okay, God is in everybody's heart. Everybody's born of God. Everybody is born from the same spirit, the same juiciness of love, unconditional love. But then we're born into this world that's bombarded us with all the negative stuff and told us all kinds of stupidness. And now we have to rise up from under all of that. We got to get rid of it. Okay, which is why I left my job as a chiropractor after 20 years of being a really great chiropractor. And I really loved it. But there was something niggling that told me there was more. There's more, 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 more. There was something more I need to discover. And I'm discovering that bit by bit. And I'm sharing it with you. You're an emanation of God. And if you're an emanation of God, that means anything that you want, that you feel a burning desire inside yourself for, is the Spirit of God telling you that you need to follow this path. Okay? Because we all have something, a purpose. Some of them may look similar, but we all are vibrating differently. So we're all going to attract different elements. So, for example, somebody's doing what I'm doing, yeah, who's helping someone else elevate and progress through life, being a better version of themselves. Somebody else is doing the same. Lots of people are doing that on YouTube. And lots of coaches out there, lots of therapists out there, and lots of shaman and all kinds of stuff going on out there. But it doesn't mean that, okay, if you want to go do something like that, I used to ask myself this question, what's the point? Because there's so many people out there already, people they're not lacking in that. But then I got to understand that no, my messages may not be different, but the way it comes out of me is different than the way it comes out of everybody else. Therefore, my presence, my expression, my feelings, my vibration, my uniqueness is going to attract specific people that are going to be drawn to me because they need to hear what I have to say in the way I have to say it, where nobody else can do it in that way. Okay? So we are all emanations of God. So if God puts something on your heart, if you're in a job right now that you don't want to be in, get out of it. And if you can't get out of it straight away, at least start visualizing strongly start writing down your ideal job, what that looks like, how it feels, and get serious. Because once you start doing that, because that's what I started doing, I started writing down my ideal day, what that feels like, what the man I want to be with is like, what places I wanted to travel to in the world, how much money I wanted to earn. I did have a real massive block on money, so I left that for the last because I didn't know how to even deal with that. But I worked through all of these things, and then I started working through the financial situation as well. And just write down all of them bit by bit by bit. And every morning you get up and you read it. Or if you're not reading it every day, you should have it so clear in your mind that you can see the pictures, you can smell the air, you can taste the foods that you're eating, you can hear the voices of the people you're talking to, you can hear the energy around the conversations that you're having. It's almost like you're just letting God flow through you, just letting all of that stuff that is, you can feel it bubbling inside of you, just let it out. Just let it flow out onto the paper. and just live it inside your mind, inside your heart. Really open up your heart. Okay. Other things you need to do is start working on lining up your chakras, because they're your energy centers. Okay, they're not some woo-woo uh, Eastern world stuff. Okay, they're real. Okay, and a lot of the stuff from the Eastern world, they got it sussed better than we have here in the Western world. And it's just starting to come to the Western world now. People are starting to wake up and learn these things. But your chakras are your energy centers. And I'm going to do a video just on the chakras so you can understand what they are. But they're basically your energy centers. Is where the neurons, the spinal neurons come together and they create a little ball of energy at different levels of your body. And all this energy is responsible for giving life to various parts of your body. And it's important that they're lined up. And if they're not lined up, then you can feel out of alignment and discombobulated. And if they're depleted, again, in that area, then you're going to be suffering from certain ailments around those areas. For me, my heart was one of those places that was depleted. So I used to get these palpitations called SVTs. And I got stressed and anxious about anything. I'd be in hospital because I needed drugs to pump my heart up. But once I started learning how to meditate and create a bigger volume of energy in and around my heart, I don't seem to get those problems anymore because I'm more zen now, more chilled, and I don't like life hit me in the face and bombard me with stuff and react to it. It may come, but I know how to just deflect it a lot more than I used to. So it's like we're just learning now. Human beings are just starting to learn how to use our minds and our bodies, because they're tools. That's all they are. They're tools of this life force that is carried within it. The life force that's carried within it is who we are. And when you start learning that, then you know that there's nothing you can't do. There's nothing you can't have. And you just have to just go, okay, what would God do? What does God want? And he's telling you, already tells you, you already know. What I want and what you want may be two different things. And that's because God wants to express himself through you in a different way, which is what makes us individuals. Okay. So you may like carrot cake. I like chocolate cake. You may like strawberries. I like blueberries, and whatever. I'm grasping at things here. But you know what I'm saying? We all like different things because God is trying to experience different things through each of us. So we have a responsibility. And this is why we work better as community, because then we can share our stories. We can God can experience even more when we share our stories with each other and we lift each other up to give them the permission to say, yeah, shine your light, because your light is very individual, because your light looks like something else over there. No, you are an individual. Shine your light. Let your God force come through. You are an emanation of God. You're meant to be here. You are supposed to be here. And you're supposed to be shining that light big and bright. So start working on clearing up those limitations. Whatever your parents told you that you're still mulling over and you're still holding a grudge, whatever your sister told you or somebody did to you, just remember that was an experience. It was an experience, a God experience through you. You can let it go. It's important that you let it go, because if you don't let it go, you're going to block the flow of experience of a wonderful life coming through you. Okay, so where else can I go with this? Your health is tied up in this. The physical body, this tool, this mechanism here. When we block the God force from flowing, the physical body gets ill. That's what illness is. It's just a block of energy, block of the flow of energy through certain parts of the body. Okay, so when you hold a grudge and you worry and you hold that depleting energy over and over and over and over in that specific particular part, something has to give. Yeah, For me, I had a fibroid, and when I checked in with it, I was just like, oh, I'm holding some guilt, I'm holding some shame, I'm holding a few things down here that I didn't never really checked on. But I started meditating and doing like clearing of the energy center. I could feel the tension in there. And guess what? Yes, there was a fibroid growing just in that spot. And you know what? Most people, that's where they hold the guilt and the shame and all the horrible emotions. They hold them in there. And if you're coming from a place where life has been harsh and stressful, you're going to find that you're probably, especially as a woman, you're going to find that you have some fibroids down there, especially as you get older, because you haven't dealt with them. You need to release those things. You need to let them go, let your body heal. It's not because you're in your 40s or your 50s you're meant to have them. That's BS. Okay? It's because you're not letting the energy through, and eventually your body is going to show you, like, hello, I haven't had any energy in here in 40 years. What you expect? I gotta do something. There's nothing. It's just locking up and dying. So not letting the energy in. But like I said, for me, it was also the heart condition. You deal with a certain level of anxiety. You see so many people with panic attacks, and SVTs, which is supraventricular tachycardia, is a real thing. And so many people have it. And they will tell you, okay, you must stop eating chocolate and you must stop drinking coffee and you must stop doing all of that. I did all of that. I stopped doing all of those things. I still eat a lot of chocolate, not a lot. I eat a bit of chocolate, I should say. I don't drink coffee. Would love to drink coffee, but my boyfriend and my daughter won't allow it. I really do miss drinking it, but I don't drink coffee, and I stay away from drama. Yeah, I don't even watch the news because it's just pure stress, one stress after the other, nothing positive and uplifting. So I don't bother watching that. And people who would just like to moan and groan, I try to stay away from them unless I feel like they want help from me or I can help them and they're allowing that, then I'm all over that because that's what I'm about. But if you just want to sit there and waller and you want somebody to waller, that is not going to be me. I'm going to be the one going, can we talk about something else? And for that reason, a lot of people I used to hang around kind of seem to have dispersed away from me. And that is completely okay because where I am focusing is on high vibration and to bring anyone that wants to walk that walk with me to high vibration. I can learn from you, you can learn from me, we can learn together, we move to the next level, and so on and so forth. That's what I'm about. That's what I think the whole of this life is about. But just remember, you have the power. The power is not outside of you, the power is inside. You are an emanation of God, just like the next person, which is why when you look at someone, no matter what they're up to, you can love them unconditionally, no matter what. They could be the terriblest human being in the world. You love them unconditionally because you know what? They are an emanation of God as well. But the subconscious programming may have brought some beliefs to them, letting them think that they're meant to be like this or they're a horrible person or they're no good. And so they act out these behaviors. But if you take away that subconscious programming, you have a beautiful being. How many people go to church and they get saved and they stop stealing or they stop sleeping around and they stop doing all that horrible stuff that they used to do? Or some people who just discover a different way of life, who just, instead of being this horrible person that used to beat upon people, now is a protector of people. So we all have the sacred beauty inside of us that we need to discover. And when I'm talking about all of us, I mean all of us, and probably about 1%. By 1 to 5% of the population actually knows about this or is actually doing something about it, because the rest of the 95% is not that they don't know, and it's not that they don't care, it's because they're scared. They're afraid to do something different. And if you're one of those people, let's have a conversation, because you know what? That fear is good. It's good to have that fear, but you can't let it take control. You can't let it take you to your deathbed, not actually allowing that force through to be the person you're actually meant to be. When you stopped off at that cosmic bus stop, as she called Sue Morta said, you stop off at a cosmic bus stop and you decided, I'm going to become a human being. I'm going to work on self-confidence. And another person said, I'm going to work on unconditional love. And another person said, I'm going to work on ultimate forgiveness. You know, we came here with an intention. But then when we come down in that little blob called a little human baby, then all of it, we forget it. And it's our responsibility now to remember that we are here. So all the things that we've been through that you can't forgive, you are the one that came here to learn about ultimate forgiveness. For those of you who come and you're shy, and because of the situation that you came through, you decided to come through that situation so that then you can turn it around to get that ultimate confidence. And for those of you who come through a situation where you never felt love, you are the ones that wanted to experience unconditional love, which means you have to rewire and transform and get back to the pure essence of the God force in you that remembers everything that you're meant to come through. Okay? But you can't come through life airy, fairy, breezy, not experiencing anything, because you'll never really experience this unconditional love, this forgiveness and this confidence building. It's a part of the process. And when you start learning, that's what God is about. It's about experiencing life, experiencing love, experiencing joy, experiencing the hard knock so we can grow from it. It makes everything so easy. But you are the God force flowing through you. Your body is a vessel. Your mind is a processor. That's all. Okay? Let me know how you feel about this video. If you want any more information, I am here to share. I love this stuff. I love to give. I love to share. And share your comments with me as well. And so we can have a conversation around this. Again, if you need someone to talk to with regards to relinquishing, letting go, and you find it difficult to let go of certain things, then let's have a conversation via Discovery Call. The link is below, and we can talk about how to get rid of those subconscious limitations that you've been hanging on to since you were 2 or even before you were born, because it starts as early as that. And it's difficult to move past something if you don't know how to get to it, or you have no way of getting to it on your own. So this is where people like myself who practice rapid transformational therapy come in, where we help you get beyond the analytical mind and deep into the subconscious mind, where you hold all these limiting programs that are stopping you from becoming the beautiful goddess or God that you're meant to be. All right, so give us a call. Again, the link is below, and we'll talk then. Leave your comments, any questions in the comment section. And thank you so much for staying tuned. Love you guys. Stay light and stay bright, and keep on smiling.